Hello, everybody, and welcome again to a amazing, fantastic, superb episode of Sphere of Success, which is where, as business people, we look at the adversity and challenges that do come our way. They can be pretty regular. It's how we handle those with the wisdom that we can look and think, right, what can I learn from this situation? Is there a gift, however well hidden, in what we've received that we can actually use to develop, expand, and perhaps it may just be the best thing that's ever happened. You never know. And today we have the most wonderful gentleman. He's a digital nomad. He's traveling the globe. He's speaking to everybody that he meets. So you never know. You might just have a conversation with Ondras. You might just head on up to you and go, "Hi, how's it going?" He's just such a big-hearted guy. It's wonderful to have you on the show. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, lovely. And you have been on one of our recent podcasts as well, and I was just awestruck by your confidence, your power, your self-assuredness in a very open and equalizing way. That I don't see any ego from you. It's not the big I am. It's all about helping and really contributing to human beingness, which is absolutely fabulous. So well done for the work that you do.
Thank
I'd
you.
love, oh, my pleasure. I'd love to hear from you about your journey because it hasn't been without its adversity and challenge. And it would be lovely to hear a little bit more about how you've used that to your advantage.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll just quickly run over it. If you want to know more about if you're listening and you want to know more about the details of the story, you can go check out the other podcast. So I started with very severe social anxiety, was bullied in school, and had a pretty toxic childhood. So that was the first challenge that I started with, and once I overcame that, I started to turn my mess into a message, right? Or started to turn into that challenge into a message. And I often speak about this now, and I even wrote a chapter in an anthology with other authors about this as a gift wrapped in sandpaper, right? So my social anxiety actually turned out to be my biggest gift. However, it was wrapped in sandpaper, meaning like I got it and I was like, oh, why? I don't want this. Like, this doesn't look so nice. It hurts. And then when you start to unwrap it, it hurts and it's hard. It's tough. It takes a long time. But once you finally open it, it's like, wow, this is amazing, right? So that's how I look at it now, and that's how I talk about it, because if I didn't go through that challenge and I didn't go through all of that journey of overcoming my social anxiety and building that confidence and the conversation skills from the ground up, then I wouldn't be able to share it with others. I wouldn't be able to travel the world. I wouldn't be able to have my own videos, to build my own brand, and to start helping other people overcome social anxiety and build social skills and improve their social health, right? So in retrospect, this biggest challenge, or this biggest curse, even how I thought about it back then sometimes, was was my biggest gift. And it took a while to unwrap and definitely to understand that it was in fact my biggest gift. But once I got it, I definitely went out to use it to create something meaningful and become decently successful at it at a pretty young age. I can say, I'm 24, but I've been traveling the world for 2.5 years now as a coach full time. And there's many challenges that come with that. We can get into maybe challenges of full time travel a little bit later. But I think maybe I can start with the challenge of starting a business, especially starting a coaching business, which was my experience as a 19-year-old. What do you think? Is there something that I can
Oh,
start with?
yeah, absolutely. The thing is, you see, the wonderful thing is at 19, having already been on your journey since the age of 13 or thereabouts, when you decided, you know what, enough's enough. I'm not going to take this bullying and this toxic environment any longer. I'm going to do something about it. You'd already
Yeah,
got 7 years of really good experience to bring to the party. And so
Yes.
often people look at coaches, maybe without any disrespect to age, because we can be any age and be absolutely amazing. I know very immature older people, and I know incredibly mature and wise younger people. So by definition, age isn't important, but perception is there to the point where you think, well, how come this whippersnapper at 19 or
Yes.
whatever can tell me anything that I don't know? So yeah, I'd love you to start there because I think it's going to be really valuable.
Yes, I dealt with a lot of that. Of you're a kid, you have no life experience. How can you call yourself a coach or a life coach? What do you have to say? What do you have to offer? There's nothing I can learn from you. And I've very quickly discovered that there's going to be, well, it took a while actually, I guess, to discover, but in hindsight, I guess I can say quickly, um, to discover that there's going to be two types of people. This type of people who are like, what do you have to offer? And a second type of people who are going to be very open and receptive and actually want to learn, right? And so when I was 19, I started thinking about a coaching business to help other people with social anxiety and to help other people with shift their mindset, right? Improve themselves, get into personal development, and really get into the mindset of I want to improve myself, specifically with social anxiety because that was my personal journey, and I felt that that can really help there. But yeah, the thoughts of I'm not good enough, who am I to actually do this, right? Yeah, sure, maybe I've overcome it, but that doesn't mean that I can help others, or I'm too young, maybe I nobody knows me, I don't basically don't have any money, right? I'm not successful at anything. And so my first thought was, I need to become rich and successful first in something else, and then I can help people with their mindset and be a coach. And so I went into a spree of, it started with another Google search of how to make money online, right? Because that's what I wanted to do. I was like, I want to make money online so I can travel. I already knew that, right? And so it was affiliate marketing here, drop shipping here, forex trading here, crypto trading here, social media marketing agency here. Oh my God, so many things. Okay, let me try this one. Oh, that didn't work. Let me try this one. That didn't work. Let me try this one. And I kept going through these different business models, which by the way, any of them actually, I'm looking back now, I understand that any of them could have worked if I stuck to it a little bit longer, but I just kind of quit too early, right? Because I saw a YouTube video like, hey, start this affiliate marketing business and make this much money in 2 weeks. I'm like, oh, amazing. I'm gonna do that. And then wow, 3 months, 2 months later, I haven't made any money. What's happening,
Well,
right?
they
Business
might
isn't
not
working.
have been
Excellent.
Earth weeks. I don't know what planet these weeks are kind of from where to where, but sometimes it's like, really? That's a week? Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, fine, fair enough. Or 2 weeks
Exactly.
after you've been doing it for the last 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah, probably that's more like it. Yeah, that's more like it. So, we mentioned overnight success and how long overnight success actually takes before. But yeah, so I tried all of these different things and I basically quit too early because they had false advertising in a way. And I also the deeper reason is that I didn't really care about those things. Right? Like I was doing affiliate marketing only for the reason to become rich and successful so that I can be a coach and help people as a coach, right? And then so finally, I wasn't planning it at all, but I was just trying to figure out how to make any other online business work. I think I was maybe at drop shipping or maybe some business model, and I came across this free challenge, and it was called Craft Your Offer in 3 Days Challenge, something like that, right? And I really liked the coach. I liked her content and what she was talking about. So I signed up for the challenge. It was a free challenge. I went through the 3 days, and I specifically I remember thinking I was creating two offers at the same time, kind of like one was for my other business. I don't even remember what that was. That's how important it was for me, right? And then the second one was just for fun, I'm gonna create like a coaching offer. Like what would I do to create like a coaching offer? And so it was like big notes on the other business that I don't even remember, and then there were like these tiny extra notes, just like maybe I would do this as a mindset offer or as a confidence offer. And I participated in the challenge like very actively, And I think I missed maybe one day of homework, or maybe like missed one thing. So I've won second place, as like she had prizes, right? Like first place, second place of the challenge. I won second place, and it was a 90-minute coaching session with her. And so on the call, I told her about, my story and whatnot and what I'm trying to do. And then she asked me, so so okay, so you've been doing these different business models and all that. What do you really want to do? And I kind of like thought about it a little bit. I'm like, should I tell her? And I was like, okay, I'm gonna tell her. You know what? I'm here, might as well. I really want to be a coach. I want to help people with confidence, social anxiety, and mindset. That's what I want to do. But I'm too young. I'm too young, and I don't have life experience yet. So I need to do this first, and then I can do that. And she, I'll again never forget this. She had, how in talent shows they have the buzzers, right? And then when they don't like something, they go like, "Duh." She had like a little portable one, this little box, and she had it like off screen somewhere, like on the call, and she buzzed me out. I'm like, huh? Like shook me. I'm like, what? What's up? And she like kind of showed me that she had the buzzer, and she was like, well, that's a limiting belief that probably comes from your mom and not really you. And I was like, you're right. Oh my God, you're so right. Like I know I would be a coach. I know I can be a coach already, but just because of my age and whatever, like not being rich and doesn't really it wasn't related, but I felt related, right? So she helped me overcome that limiting belief alongside the buzzer. She took me through like a process of reframing that, right? And I got off the call, completely scratched everything else, stopped, deleted all my Facebook pages or websites or whatever I had before, and I created a new Facebook group, and I deleted all of the videos that I had there before, and I created a new one. And um, I think at the time I named it Gen Z Unstoppables or something like that. Um, and just started making videos about mindset and building confidence and personal growth and sharing my story. Um, so yeah, she definitely helped me make the jump, and the process that she took me through to overcome that imposter syndrome and to overcome that limiting belief that was holding me back.
Mm. Isn't that a wonderful story? And what a wonderful lady she was. She was like an earth angel for you. Showed up just when you needed it and was able to, with some tough love by the sounds of it, help you
Oh yeah.
establish. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes we need that, we need that tough love to be able to go, you know what? Yeah, I really did need that kind of, you think so?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Just
And
just like a
yeah.
fun addition, just a fun addition to that with her specifically. Because I didn't have any money to pay her. But so she kind of still kept giving me advice and little tidbits here and there. She would talk to me every now and then. And I started calling her my online mom. I started calling her my online mom because she was the only person that like actually believed me. Well, like my mom was actually the one telling me, "You're crazy. This is never gonna work. Nobody's gonna listen to you." And she was like, "No, you can do this." And and she did have similar vibe of a tough love, like my actual mom, and like similar energy, but actually supportive to what I wanted to do rather than being dismissive. And she is from Poland, but she lives in London. Oh no, she doesn't live in London. She lives in a city outside of London, but she lives in the UK. And I did meet her after I quit my job, and I did go and meet her, and we had a fun time exploring London together. And we didn't talk to any people on the tube, but we actually took the tube together and like traveled around London and saw the Big Ben and the London Eye and all of that. So um, yeah, it was still super super grateful to finding her and how much she's helped and working
Mm,
with her as well.
but the thing is, all credit to you, you're the one that did it. And that's the thing, we have a phrase in the UK saying you can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And that phrase is very true because there has to be something in somebody. And this whole thing with success, you can give
Yeah,
somebody the blueprint. You can say, here you go, this do this, but they won't do it. And you think, okay, well, it's a shame, but you got to be on your journey and you've got to learn in your own time. And maybe not now, but might be in the future. And it's wonderful to see that you you took up the challenge, literally the free challenge, and then you ran with it and you made it your own, and you did, and you took action. And again, I think that, you know, let's explore this action taking, because it sounds like you got behind something. What was it that was driving you to do this?
So many things. I think it's important to stack up as many motivators as you can, especially when it's something big and scary like this, right? Starting a business, sharing your story to expose yourself online, um, trying to, yeah, just these two things by themselves, very big, very scary, and making a business work, you know, after you've started it is a whole new thing as well. So I believe in, like, you have to stack up as many motivators as possible, and both kind of motivators, running away from something and going towards, like, running away from something um, painful and going towards something pleasurable. So for me, it was definitely on the side of running away from something. Was I saw my parents and I saw the fights about money, and I saw the insecurities and how it worked out, and never having enough money for what we wanted or what we needed almost. And so that was I saw the pain that I wanted to get away from. Was I don't want to end up like my parents financially, or like in a life situation. Um, and then the pleasure that I was going towards was the idea of traveling the world and exploring the world and working on my own terms, working from a laptop or from my phone while I explore this country or this continent and this country. It was just magical. Like, it was definitely a dream that drove me to to do that. And it was a dream that felt almost impossible to achieve, but we can get into that maybe a little bit later as well. Like, because I already had overcome social anxiety that felt impossible before, right? Like, I was the shyest kid. Like, there's no way that I can speak to girls on the buses, or there's no way that I can, you know, join a group in a park and just sit down next to them and be like, "Hey guys, what you up to?" I was like, "There's no way I could do that. Impossible." But I did it, and now I was doing it, right? It became a normal part of my life. So I had a sliver of like, okay, this feels impossible, but maybe I can still do it. Um, and yeah, so tried to stack up as many motivators, getting away from what I didn't want to have and how I didn't want to live, and going towards how I wanted to live. And plus, definitely sharing my story and helping people, because I saw that so many people are suffering, and I suffered. So, you know, it's a different experience when you haven't gone through the similar challenges and you don't know what it's like to feel super anxious and to feel super depressed that you're, you know, thinking about ending it, to being on the other side and knowing that there's so many other people who struggle and suffer, and they could benefit and they could actually improve their life as well, just if you go out and share your story or share what you did. So that was definitely a big motivator and a driver as well in making the big decisions, and then keeping up and following through with the decisions, because there have been many times, or countless times, when I wanted to quit. And I was like, this is not going to work. Like, I don't know what to do anymore. Like, it seems like this isn't working. That isn't working. I'm super tired. I haven't had much sleep in 4 days, and still choose to, okay, I'm gonna try one more day. I'm gonna try one more day, and then you get the win, and the momentum shifts, and you start doing really well. You're like, oh my God, this is amazing, and then something happens, and you go back down, like, oh, this again, oh my God, I
Yeah.
don't want to do this anymore, right? And you go through the cycles. Um, so yeah, keep in mind all of as many motivations as you can, as many whys, as many reasons to
Mm.
carry through.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the purpose, isn't it? To have an
Yeah.
unwavering purpose, to say there is no failure is great, because failure just gives you the lessons you need to learn, so that you know, no, you don't need to do that anymore. You can do something different. And I think it was Thomas Edison who's he's the inventor of the light bulb. And apparently he had a good few attempts, and I think it was into the thousands, of attempts of
Yeah.
how to get this light bulb to turn on. And somebody, I think it was a journalist, that asked him, which is a pretty rude question, but you know, you've had all this failure, etc. What does it feel like? And he went, well, actually, you know what? It's just given me all these learnings to go, well, I don't need to do it like that because last time it didn't work like that. So I just need to do something different until it does work. And it's that real glue that really sticks you to something rather than going for the next shiny object. As you
Yeah.
said, with your, you know, your trading and your drop shipping and your online. And that's not to say that, as you said, you know, people make incredibly successful businesses out of all of these different things. But as that lady said, you know, what really resonates with you, what do you really enjoy doing, what's your passion? And it can be an insane passion, you know, it can be well off the wall, but people make businesses out of off the wall passions. And, you know, I always, it makes me smile, you know, all these wonderful people who do crafting, you know, they're making cards and they're making beautiful little things themselves. I'm like, my gosh, there's a whole industry catering for people who like to do this kind of stuff. And I think that's absolutely brilliant. And again, in the pandemic, people bought puppies. And I was just after the pandemic, I got myself a little dog. And the first thing I went out and bought was a dog jacket, a proper matching collar and lead, and stuff like that. People are making money out of making dog clothes. I mean, clothes for dogs, really? But that was something that obviously somebody thought, oh, I'm really into the dogs. I really like to do this. I'm kind of fashion. Let's marry the two. Let's do clothes for dogs. And it's just like, yeah. And everybody's buying these things. Like you couldn't get hold of them because they're all selling off the shelves. So crazy
Wow.
ideas. The bigger the wow, the most sort of like in your face ideas. They can be the ones that absolutely people want. And your coaching, all of the stuff that you do, I'm a firm believer, and you only have to be a couple of steps ahead of the people that you're helping. Because you know what? People relate to that. If you're one of these big gurus, and I'm not anything against the big gurus, but ultimately, how far away are they from that journey? And how relatable is that feeling of social anxiety when it was only a few years ago that they felt the same? And we all do things slightly differently, but the empathy and the understanding and the knowledge that somebody like yourself can give to the people that are taking your coaching, but also with being young. I always say I have friends of all sorts of ages, ethnicities, thought processes, different walks of life, etc., because I want that breadth of influence in my life. And for somebody like you to come up and coach maybe somebody in their older generation with social anxiety, you can actually way bring into bear your thought processes for today's society and how that's operating and really help that more mature person in age to identify with what's happening from a youthful perspective. And they always say, you know, always have younger friends because they keep you youthful. And I think you're doing a great job. I think you've got so much wisdom already that you've got so much to give to people. It's just wonderful. And your experiences in life now, have you felt that being in amongst these other cultures, because you're in Thailand, no, Vietnam, sorry, you're in Vietnam at the moment, different culture from Eastern European country. What are you drawing from now as experiences as that culture and how people relate to each other?
Wow. It's so different. It's very, it's so much kinder, so much more friendly, so much more, I guess, understanding as well, and open, but also um, very community focused, and not so individualistic, right? Like in the West, in the Western world and the Western society and Western mindset, it's all like individual and individual success and all this. Whereas over here in the East, in the Southeast Asia, or maybe even other places, can't say personally, but personally I've been to Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, Cambodia, Malaysia. Definitely very much very more focused on community, on collectivism, on family, and yeah, so it makes a big difference. And people are super open-minded and friendly and willing to wanting to help, willing to help. I'll give you a easy example that happened today, like literally today. We have this like protein shaker water bottle. We left it at a restaurant down basically down the street. Um, and we did go there a couple times. I always wave and smile at the owners, and they're always like smiling and always happy to see me. So they recognize my face. We left it at the table because we were like carrying a lot of groceries and bags and stuff, and totally forgot it. And it's been 2 days, I think. I was just passing by. I didn't even think about it anymore. I was just going by, and they were like, "Hey, hey, hey!" Yelling at me, waving. I'm like, "Oh, what's up? What's up?" They're like, because they don't really speak English, right? It's a very local place, and they're like, "Oh," I'm like, yeah," and this is like shuffled around their things, and they're like, "Ah," I'm like, "Oh yeah, thank you." Right?
Oh,
Whereas if you leave something in a restaurant in the West, they're just like, "Oh, pff, throw it away, bye," you know. But they kept it, and they were like looking out for me to give it back. Um, so that's a nice little touch, and they like try and go even. A lot of them go an extra mile. Not all of them, but a lot of them go like even further. You know, to to be helpful and to be nice and to be kind and to be supportive. Um, in whatever it is, and then yeah, sometimes the language barrier here is very funny, um, and it creates all sorts of funny experiences as well because you use more hand communication and gestures or sounds. Like when I was asking about if the if a meat in the soup is pork or beef, and I'm like, I don't know how to say it if they don't understand English, so I'm just making the sound of the animal, right? And she's laughing hysterically, right? And she started making the sound of a pig back to me. I'm like, oh, okay, it's pork. Perfect, right? Um, and it creates these little funny moments as well sometimes. So
yeah, I've been away and I've done the whole animal noise thing, and the person will turn around and say, I speak English really well, it's fine. And you go, oh, right, I've done the whole, oink, oink, like that. And they've gone, it's fine, I speak English. But, I'm sure they were playing around with me because they could have stopped me at any time, but
yeah,
they just let me go.
yeah,
Yeah. Oh dear, it's always such a breath of fresh
that's
air. It's
awesome.
so lovely. Yeah. If I'm
Yeah,
gonna stick my foot in it, I probably will. So that's,
yeah.
I've done lots of, we look back and people go, Deborah, do you remember the time when you, and I'm like, oh, but that's fine. That's okay. That's good. Well, that's what life's about, isn't it? So, oh, you're so uplifting. Oh, it's just lovely, Andres, to have you, and thank you so much for being such a superb guest. How can people get hold of you?
The best place that you can find me and message me is Instagram. So if you go to add RoboHumanist or RoboHumanist, yeah, I'm
Robo
pretty good at
Humanist.
spelling
Well,
that now.
oh, bless you. Well,
RoboHumanist.
robo-humanist. Well, we'll have all of the details on the show notes anyway, so I'm sure you'll you will have sparked some interest in so many people. And congratulations on all of your travels. And you know what? I have a feeling that you will be popping up all over the place because you've just got this wonderful, infectious, beautiful personality that you're sharing with the world, from humble beginnings to greatness as you move on through life. It's lovely to see that. So thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
And for everybody
It's been
listening,
lovely.
oh, thank you. Yeah, everybody listening, sometimes it's just those first little baby steps that we have to take, even when things are thinking, oh gosh, it's tough and it's not what I wanted. And you know, as Ondras has done, you know, he's taken those, as I call them, brickbats in life and made them his bouquets, because, you know, this is what it's all about. And there's having a little bit of humor along the way as well, that we can laugh about things, and, you know, we muck up, and that's fine because we're human. We're meant to. We're designed not to get everything right all the time. And I think that the greatest gift that we can give is ourselves is compassion, is to say, you know, we're doing the best job we can for the circumstances that we're in, and sometimes we get it right, sometimes we don't, and that's everything in the middle as well. But that's what life is all about, is the learning journey. So thanks so much for tuning in. It's lovely to have you. And until next time, thanks so much. Bye bye for now.